Hey everyone, as always, Dylan Miller Prospecting. And as you can see, it is Paydirt review time, a massive amount of Paydirt. This is Lynch Mining's American Freedom 2.5-gallon bucket with 1 ounce of gold guaranteed. But before I get any further into this, I have to do a huge shout out to a really good friend of mine, Rod Kurt. He emailed me about 3 weeks ago asking me if I wanted some Lynch Mining Paydirt to review, and he emailed me and told me it was this. He said, I have a bucket of the American Freedom Paydirt. Do you want it to review? And I said, yes, I want this. But he emailed me back and he said, look, I'm going on the road for a month. I'm not going to have the chance to pan it. I want you to pan it. I just want you to send me the gold back and send me the bucket back. And that's a fair deal for me. I get a great video out of it. I get to have a lot of fun. But let me just tell you the description. Here it is. American Freedom Paydirt 2.5-gallon bucket, unclassified materials. Homes for our troops exist to restore the gift of freedom and independence to our nation's most severely injured veterans through the gift of a specially adapted home. The success of our mission depends on the participation from people like you. For every jar or bucket of American Freedom Paydirt sold, we at Lynch Mining LLC will make a donation to the Homes for Our Troops Foundation. Each bucket sold, we will donate 3% of the total to www.hfotusa.org. At least 1 ounce of gold in each bucket, guaranteed. Each bucket will weigh roughly 30 pounds and will come with a sealed screw top. So I'm just going to come back with the use of some magic, and I'm just going to show you all the material as it's been classified. So I'm going to go right now, classify all the material, and then come back and show it to you. So be right back. Well, I've finished classifying everything down, and as you can see, there is a ton of material here. It looks so much more once you get it into pans. Now, let's show you the material. For plus 10, I have an entire full pan of it, plus some extra. These are really big rocks that I didn't want to pan out. They were just too big. I figured I'd set them to the side. I will get them wet and wash them anyway, just in case there's any gold stuck to them. So I will do that. But plus 10, entire full pan. Minus 10 plus 20, again, a full pan. For the minus 20 plus 40, I actually got 2 pans of material. So the majority of the material in this is in this classification. And I have about 3/4 of a pan here of minus 40 material. So I'm pretty glad at that. I was kind of worried in the beginning that I was going to get a lot of minus 40 material. And that's a lot of material to be going through. So let me show you if there's anything magnetic in it. It doesn't seem too bad. And there's some, but there's not a lot. So this really reminds me, it's the typical, it looks exactly like Lynch Mining Paydirt. And this reminds me more of their Reserve Paydirt or their Gizmos Paydirt, not their black label, which is really good because I didn't want to go through a ton of black sands, especially since I'm going to be panning all this, and that would have been a nightmare if it had a ton of black sand. So I'm going to go get some really clean water, start this off, and we're just going to start panning down the plus 10 material. Well, finished panning everything out, and that took a long time. If you watch the short version, you have no idea how long it took. If you watch the long version, you still have no idea how long it took. In fact, I had to cheat on this review. Typically, I only pan out all the material all 3 times just to make sure I find all the gold. But in this case, after I panned most of it the second time, I gave up and just ran it through my gold cube because this was just taking forever. And I still wanted this video to be up on Monday. It was supposed to be up last Friday, but it's just taking forever. So let's just get right to the gold I found. In the plus 10, I found a lot of gold. As I showed you in the little thing, a lot of big chunky pieces, a lot of pickers, a lot of nuggets, some really nice gold. And then I got to the minus 10 plus 20. And found even more gold. Not as much as I really thought I would find. But I'm not going to complain. I found a lot of gold. Too much to count. Some of it, like this one, probably should have been in the plus 10. Probably just skated right through. So, still very happy with that, though. And then in the minus 20 plus 40, I found even more gold and a lot of it. And I mean, an amazing amount of gold. This is where the mother lode was. So I was ecstatic about that. And then I got to the minus 40 and found even more gold, a lot of gold, especially considering that this is Lynch mining. And Lynch mining is not known for a ton of fine gold. You usually will find a little bit in all their little bags, but not a ton. So I was really surprised at this. I mean, this is a lot of gold in the minus 40. And I'm going to put these in some boats, and then we're going to weigh it up. Let's zoom you in and let's weigh it up. Now I'm going to do something a little different. I'm not going to mix it all together, so I'm just going to write it down. .374. I can just switch out those. A little bitty bit I got in this. .0951, and then the jackpot. .5257. And just because I wrote it down wrong, I need to double check this. And the reason I'm doing it like this, just so you know, is so I can send it to Rod in all the different classifications. I don't want to mix it all up for him. This way he can look at it in all the classifications just like I got. All right, so total is 1.1413 ounces. So we got over the ounce I was guaranteed. And I'm going to be right back with the ROI and the review. All right, finished writing up my review, calculating my ROI, and let's get to it. This again was from lynchmining.com. It was their American Freedom 2.5 gallon bucket. It had 1 ounce of gold guaranteed. Its cost was $1,380. Shipping was $64. Total cost $1,444. Gold recovered, all this shiny gold stuff right here, 1.14 ounces. So I recovered well over the 1 ounce guaranteed. I got 1.14 ounces. Gold spot on the day that my buddy Rod Kurt received this was $1,311.44, which means this gold's value right here is $1,495.04. So that's right, my ROI, or actually Rod's ROI for this, is 103.53%. So totally awesome. And even if he wouldn't have got the little extra in there, this bucket was guaranteed on the day he bought it and the day he received it, a 90.82% ROI. So no matter what, he was going to be getting a 90% return on his money. Instead, he got 103%. So my scale, that's a perfect 10. For fun factor, a 10. There's no way you cannot get a 10 for all that gold. I mean, massive amounts of gold, a ton of fun. It'd probably be 10 times more fun if I wouldn't have been rushing it trying to get a video shot. But, you know, that's the burden of the beast. I did rush it some, and one of these days I will get one for me, and I won't shoot a video on it. I will just spend a year panning it out. For Paydirt description, this is where it falls. I'm only giving them a 4. And what's sad is the first time I ever reviewed Lynch Mining, they had a great description. And then they grew big and they changed their website and they went to a new format, and their descriptions all just got butchered and hammered and cut and spliced. And they've just never gotten back to putting up a really good description. So it really sucks. They do talk a lot about their donations to the homes for our troops, but that's not really anything about the Paydirt itself. So that was really lacking. So I'm only giving them a 4 for that. For quantity and packaging, I'm giving them a 10 and a 10. The packaging is awesome. They really pack these buckets. I got one for my gem bucket, and this one, Rod just reshipped it to me in the same packaging. So not only did it get shipped to him in that packaging, but it got shipped to me in the same packaging and beautifully arrived. They wrap it up really good. So those things, and plus, like I told you earlier, I could not get that lid off. They secure that bad boy on their top, so they're getting a 10 for that. For customer service and shipping, they're only getting a 9. Now, I give them 10 points for the customer service. In fact, I would give them extra for their customer service. But for shipping, they're getting, this is where their hit is. Now, I would give them a 6 for shipping because it took 3 weeks to ship this bucket. But the customer service on this, after 2 weeks, or actually it was after a week, they called him, and they messaged him twice, and he didn't reply, and then they called him, and there was a question about the order. They had to get something fixed on the order, and it delayed it a week. It was a week, so then it took 2 weeks for them to ship it. So it was really, in reality, it took 2 weeks to ship this, which I still think is too long. They do state on their website it will take about that long, but I don't think anybody should be taking that long. I just don't. So I would give them a 6, except for the customer service made up for it by them calling it, and that's part of the delay. So they made up for it. And also in the customer service, Rod told me they emailed him 4 times, and every time he replied, they replied instantly to him. So he said the customer service was excellent. I think that's excellent customer service. Me personally, I've never had a problem with them, but I do know some people have had issues. But that's with any big company. You're always going to get a few people that just slip through the cracks. But customer service and shipping, they are getting a 9. 10 for customer service and an 8 for shipping. So total score was an 8.6, which really suffered from that 4 description. You know, if they'd just got their description up to somewhere around an 8, it would have ended up with a score of 9.4. If they had a 10 description like they used to in the old days, their score would have been a 9.8 with this bucket. Unbelievable. But that description of a 4 really killed them, so it's an 8.6 with them. I'm not going to complain, though. Most people are really going to be looking for the ROI and the fun factor, and this was a hit on both categories. Unfortunately, you know, the shipping is very delayed with Lynch Mining, and the description is a little lacking, but I'm not going to complain. This was a great bucket of fun. My buddy Rod got a 100% ROI on it, and that's one of the reasons I think people love Lynch Mining so much, is because not only are you always guaranteed a good amount of gold, but a lot of times you will get over what you're guaranteed. But that's going to be it for today. This has been an incredibly long video. I'm going to flash up the score right here, and then we're going to be back with the 24-karat gold-plated dime giveaway. So let me flash up the score. And of course, the winner of the gold-plated dime is going to be Rod Kirk. I couldn't give it to anyone else. For all the fun he gave me, I'm going to be sending him this as well as something special. He wants the bucket back. He wants all this gold back, so I will be sending him all his gold back. So Rod, thank you. And as always, thanks for watching and happy panning.